Shortly after fertilization, the fertilized egg or zygote begins dividing. By about 4 days after fertilization, a solid ball of cells called a morula forms. The cells continue to multiply, and by day 5, the cells separate into two groups: the inner cell mass, which will become the embryo, and encompassing sac called trophoplast, which will develop into placenta. The trophoplast cells secrete fluid, creating a cavity, the blastocele, with the inner cell mass at one end, and the stage of the mammalian embryo is called blastocyst. The cells of the inner cell mass eventually form two layers, the epiblast and the hypoblast. The epiblast is thought to contain the cells that will generate the actual embryo. Critical to the early development of all vertebrate embryos is the process of gastrulation, which occurs between day 13 to 19. Gastrulation results from the movement of cells toward the middle and then forward along the midline to form a groove called primitive streak. The end result is a production of the three primitive cell layers: the endoderm, the mesoderm, and the ectoderm. The nervous system develops from the outer layer called ectoderm. As this thin cell layer thickens, it becomes a distinct epithelium called the neural plate. Uneven rates of cell division form a groove called the neural groove that will become the middle of the embryo. Ridges of ectoderm continue to bulge on both sides of the middle. The tops of the neural ridge eventually come together to form the neural tube. The interior of the neural tube becomes the fluid-filled cerebral ventricles of the brain and the central canal of the spinal cord and the passage. By about 24 days, the three major subdivisions of the brain are seen. These include the prosencephalon or forebrain, including the telencephalon and diencephalon, and the mesencephalon or midbrain, and the rhombencephalon or hindbrain. The progenitor cells of the neural tube are known as neural progenitor cells or neural stem cells. This represents the first stage of neural development, neurogenesis, when undifferentiated cells undergo mitotic divisions to produce either new stem cells or neuroblasts that will eventually differentiate into neurons. The cells undergo a stereotyped pattern of cell movements as they progress through the mitotic cycle. Eventually, the dividing precursor cells form a closely packed layer of cells called the ventricular zone. Eventually, some cells leave the ventricular zone, forming a second layer of cells called the marginal zone. Later, intermediate layer develops as wall thickens. Cells in the intermediate zone will then begin to differentiate into both neurons and glia. As the number of cells increases during the period of neurogenesis, the newly formed cell must move either greater distance, the massive movement of nerve cells to establish the distinctive cell populations representing the second stage of neural development called cell migration. Cells do not move in an aimless, haphazard manner. Cells in the development or developing cortex move along the surface of the particular type of glial cells called radial glia. Like spokes on a wheel, these radial glial cells extend from the inner to the outer surface of the emerging nervous system. The radial glial cells act as a series of guide wires, and the newly formed cell creep along their process. Once cells reach their appropriate destination, the third stage of neural development begins: differentiation. At this point, the cell begins to use or express particular genes. This allows the cell to acquire distinct appearance and functions of neurons characteristics of the particular region. The neural environment also greatly influences the nerve cell differentiation. In vertebrates, young neuron or neural cells seem to have the capacity to become many varieties of neurons, and the particular type of neuron that a cell becomes depends on where it happens to be and what its neighboring cells are. The influence of one set of cells on the fate of neighboring cells is known as induction. As the process of differentiation proceeds, the fourth stage of neural development begins. Process outgrowth. The biggest change in brain cells early in life is the extensive growth of axons and dendrites and the proliferation of synapses. At the tip of both development, axons and dendrites are growth clones, swollen ends from which extension emerge. The very fine outgrowths called philopodia are spike-like, the sheet-like, and extensions are called lamellopodia. Both are philopodia and lamellopodia adhere to the substances in the extracellular environment which serve to guide the growing process in a particular direction. Growth cones respond to guidance cues in the environment, including the chemicals that are released by target nerve cells or other tissues such as muscle. The concentration gradients of these chemicals provide directional guidance to the growth axon. Chemical signals that attract cell growth cones are called chemoattractants. Chemicals that repel growth cones are chemorepellents. The same secreted protein may act as a chemoattractant to some growth cones and a chemorepellent to others. After reaching the correct target of target regions, axons respond to a variety of local chemical cues and make a determination about which particular cells to innervate. The process of synapse formation is called synaptogenesis. In the next stage of neural development, many neurons die. This naturally occurring cell death or apoptosis is crucial phase of brain development. Neurons compete for connections to target substance. Cells that make adequate synapse remain. Those without a place to form synaptic connections will die. Apparently, the cells compete for not just synaptic sites but for a chemical that the target structure makes and releases. Neurons that receive enough of chemical survive, those that do not die. Such target derived chemicals are called neurotrophic factors or neurotrophins because they act as if they feed the neurons to help the other. Once synaptic connections are established, trophic interactions as well as the physiological activity continue to modulate the formation of synaptic connections. This process ensures each target cell is innervated by the right number of axons and that each axon innervated the right number of cells. Many of the synapses initially formed are retracted while new synapses are formed. That concludes our understanding of basic neural development in mammalian cells. Hope you get a clear idea.